Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the joint meeting of Utility Safety and Environment and the Finance Committee for Monday, September 29th, 2025. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from Utility Safety and Environment Committee meeting on August 6th as circulated on August 29th. Can I get a motion, please?
So move. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Davis, second by Mr. Oswald. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The next item on our agenda is, I am so sorry, Mr. Tolet, would you like to call finance to order?
At this time, I'll call finance to order.
Please forgive me.
You're good.
The next item on our agenda is the matter of entering into a contract with Brown and Caldwell for a comprehensive biosolids study for the wastewater pollution control plant. Superintendent Stewart, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, chairs and members of this committee. The item before you is an agreement to enter into contract with Brown and Caldwell for our biosolids study. This is something that I've brought up previously in the past at the conclusion of our energy master plan, something I've spoken to many of you about before, and now we're at that point. It's something that our team's worked on here for quite a few months now, and what started out as just the idea of doing it is now in the past few months, we've met with 16 different firms, we've toured the plant, we've interviewed them, we narrowed that down to 4 firms, and from there we had some in-depth interviews and presentations, and our panel came into agreement that Brown and Caldwell would be the best fit for us. So we definitely did our due diligence and homework, and then also I have created a presentation so to give you a better idea of what the study will be about, what to expect in the future of what we're planning to do with our biosolids and biogas. So with that. So before I get into the study, I actually just wanted to give a brief history of the plant so we can kind of see where we started, what got us here, and then, like I said, what we're going to be looking at with this study for our future upgrades. So many of you probably know this, but if not, the plant was originally built in 1929. We had 8 upgrades in the 60s and the 80s. The current capacity is 13 million gallons a day, and with the consent decree, we're increasing that peak flow to 40 million gallons, and our average is 8 million gallons a day. In 2024, we treated 2.75 billion gallons of water. That's how loud it is. So that's the outfalls there to the Black River. It's about 8 miles upstream of Lake Erie that we discharge to every day. So to give a brief rundown of what we do, I say, in its simplest form, 8 million gallons, and the objective is to protect the Black River, Lake Erie, the public health, and we do this by removing solids, biological oxygen demand, nutrients such as phosphorus and ammonia, that's to prevent algal blooms, and obviously pathogens. We disinfect those to keep the river safe. But today, I'm just going to focus on the solids. So the waste from the homes and the businesses, the solids come to the plant, we remove those solids, and the clean water is sent to the river. So what are biosolids? Biosolids are a byproduct of wastewater. They're all the organics that come to the plant. So you can use our imagination as what that is. So we remove those mechanically and biologically. Those all get settled out, and we settle those and we pump those to our anaerobic digesters. They're stabilized by bacteria. This reduces odors, this reduces pathogens, and the volume of sludge through that stabilization. Then we take the sludge, we dewater it to 25% solids because we pay per wet ton. So obviously the less water that's in the solids, the better, because we pay less. And right now it's currently managed and it's sent as a waste to the landfill. However, what we're seeing now, instead of being a waste, we can use this as a resource. Land application, compost, nutrient and energy recovery. These are all the new technologies that are out there that we'll be exploring as part of the study. So I kind of described it, but currently with our biosolids management, so all the sludge, we call it sludge, biosolids, organic material, is pumped to these anaerobic digesters and it's heated to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. These bacteria are just like us, so think of a digester similar to your stomach. They need food, and their food is the organic sludge that we send to it. We heat it, like I said, to 98 degrees, and similar to a stomach, it creates methane. So the stabilized sludge, it reduces, creates methane, then we send it, like I said, to the belt presses for dewatering, and ultimately the Lorain County landfill for disposal. It works, it's a good practice right now, but there are certain regulations that I'll speak about that's making this tougher and that we're going to be looking at in the future is why this might be a challenge for us. So just some quick numbers. So for our biosolids, we produce about 350 wet tons a month, which is equivalent to about 8.6 million pounds a year. And then for biogas, the larger number, it's about 3,000 cubic feet an hour, excuse me, of methane, excuse me, which is 26 million cubic feet per year. So some equivalencies of that is, so 26 million cubic feet of methane, it's hard to kind of comprehend how large of a number that is. That's about 145,000 gallons of gasoline a year that we burn, that we create and just burn. There's no reuse for it currently. We call it the never-ending flame. It's probably a 4 or 5 foot tall flame at the plant if you've ever been there and seen it, and it does not go out. And we burn this because it's better to release carbon monoxide than it is methane, because methane is a very powerful greenhouse gas. The equivalent of that is 393 gallons of gasoline a day that we burn, and it could generate about 2.6 million kilowatt hours of electricity a year, which is enough to power 257 homes. And on the biosolids, that 8.6 million pounds is equivalent to a little over 1,000 dry tons or 2,000 cubic yards of biosolids. So why this matters, and obviously it's help the environment, it's what we're here to do, but also there's a huge cost in our operations. I've talked about this before, I've brought it up, but we're seeing that increase. We're seeing that increase even more rapidly. As far as electricity, so last year we spent $450,000 in electricity costs just at the plant. In July of 25 this year, I'm sure everybody saw that their demand prices went up after the PJM auctions. I'm sure we all saw $15, $20 monthly increases. Well, we saw almost a $14,000 a month increase. So we'll be now going from $450,000 to $600,000. And we tie with the water plant. We go back and forth, but we're the largest city energy user with all of our processes. And with our consent decree projects that we're having, we're adding even more equipment with our aeration tank project. So that's just, it's going to keep going up, which is another reason we were trying to think ahead and how can we try and reduce some of these costs. And then for the biosolids disposal, we actually pay very good rates right now. It's $36.29 a ton, but it's the equivalent of about $400,000 a year, and it's about 3 to 5% increases annually. So I said 36 is good, but what we've seen in other states is it's going up much quicker due to some regulations. So the purpose of the study is obviously the rising energy and disposal costs, the EPA compliance and tightened regulations. I'll talk about it later, but we've all heard of PFAS, microplastics, land application, and some other issues that might come of it, which landfills are taking note of. And then also I told you the digesters. The plant was built in 29, so digesters 1 and 2 are 100 years old. And then right now we are completely dependent upon the landfill. So if they chose to raise prices, we have no other option at this moment because we have not done a study. We haven't figured out what we could do with this. Current land application with our current Class B biosolids is about $80 a ton compared to 36, depending on where you go. So there's certain contracts, but each year when we go out to contract, the landfill comes in at the cheapest right now, but it's a worry that we look at in the future. The objectives of the study, so now that I've talked about the gloom and the doom and the rising cost of everything, the main reason we're doing this is to build a roadmap. That's something that the term we've thrown around a lot. There's no straight path that we know we need to go on. So I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. I don't know what is it going to look like? What are the costs going to be? So what we're doing now is we're gathering data for the past 5 to 10 years. We're going to look at that. We're going to analyze it. We're going to look at the equipment, and we're going to see if what happens, then we need to go to this route. If this happens, then we need to go to this route. So I would say that's the main objective of this study. and obviously improve the performance, optimize our costs, and then assess our resource opportunities. And the big one is evaluate all the options. So it seems like a big upfront cost of $440,000, but in the reality in the long term of what this is doing, we're able to do this study one time. So we're not going to have to come back in 5 years and say, now this changed, we have to do it. It's a very fluid model that they use. So it's something that we get at the end, and we're able to tailor and change those triggers or those inputs. But some of those options that they're going to look at, I've kind of talked about. The first one would be the methane. We can use the methane to run a generator, lower electric costs. The current calculations say we could cut that in about half. So from 600 down to 300,000 a year. Other possibilities are pipeline injection. Instead of buying the capital and the equipment, we buy cleaning equipment and pump it right into Columbia Gas. So they will actually buy the gas from us. And then a third one that we've talked about a lot is the acceptance of FOG, or restaurant grease, which is fats, oils, and greases. Digesters, they love FOG. It's very volatile in organic compounds, and it'll supercharge and create tons of methane. And with that, we'll get additional tipping fees. And on the biosolids options, we're going to look at land application, possible composting, advanced digestion. And right now, instead of going to the landfill with our biosolids, if we don't want to put it on land application, some communities are actually selling it. You can treat it so well that you can sell it as a fertilizer. You can bag it. Some companies or municipalities, they'll pelletize it and sell it in 5 to 10 pound fertilizer bags to the community at cheaper rates than like Home Depot or other places, because it's loaded with those nutrients of phosphorus and ammonia. So all options that they're going to look at. We're not going to really leave any of it on the table so we can figure out what's best for our plant. Because we've looked at a lot, but we really want to dial in on Elyria and what's best for the Elyria wastewater treatment plant. Something else, as I brought it up previously, is the emerging contaminants. This is something Mr. Jacobs is going to speak on prior to this, but it's PFAS and forever chemicals. It is one of our big worries. The current federal administration kind of lacks on that, but it's not going anywhere. We keep seeing it pop up more. There's new regulations. They put new regulations on the water side. We've seen it in Maine, and I've spoken to superintendents in Michigan, where their landfills, since it is a regulated contaminant now, they said no, they don't take it anymore. So the individual I spoke with in Maine, they actually pay $250 a ton and ship it to Ohio. And we inject it now into old salt mines and land mines. So Ohio, we're fine right now, but we're trying to plan this out for the 5 to 10 to 20 year. If that happens, we know what to do. If the landfills decide to close, we have option B and C. If our prices increase threefold, we should do this instead. So that's where this roadmap comes into play. It's strategic thinking down the road. But I said, Mr. Jacobs will speak on a little more on the emerging contaminants. So roadmaps and risk reduction. If this were approved, if we complete the biosolids study, phase 1 is we're going to identify the cost-effective solutions and the essential upgrades, what we like to call the low-hanging fruit. What are the easy things we can fix in-house? What's going to save us a quick, bang for our buck real quick? And then the next phase would be transition to that sustainable reuse energy, methane, generate electricity, sell it back to the pipeline. That would be phase 2. And then phase 3 would be advanced digestion options, thermal hydrolysis. How do you stabilize that more? How do you get to that Class A biosolids? But that'll all be dependent on the outcome of the study. And then the cost avoidance that we're getting is, so they're 100-year-old digesters, but by being proactive now, by figuring out what's wrong now, we can extend the life of that. And then we all know with an emergency, it's going to cost double to triple, and you're actually not getting what's best in the long term. You don't have time to plan for that. You don't have time to design for that. You're just putting exactly back in what you have. So that's why we want to figure out now a 20-year roadmap of if this happens, if this digester implodes. Or we know, well, we shouldn't put this digester back in because that wasn't our plan the whole time. We wanted to put in a thermal hydrolysis unit. So instead of putting in a $2 million digester, let's put in an advanced digestion system. So it's giving us the best use of our money. So the long-term costs, I've spoken on the methane. And the FOG program, that's something that even before the study that Shane and I have looked into, Mr. Derek, here, we've looked into a great amount. This would be modeled after our septic program, which we started in April this year, which he's led very successfully. So in 6 months, we've generated over $125,000 in additional revenue, and it's only with 4 or 5 companies, and we haven't really branched out even further, just because we want to keep taking it slow. But it's pretty close on track to the $250,000 we thought. Well, there's a lot of restaurants in Elyria. I think we counted earlier, there's like 75, I believe, and they're required to have grease traps. So currently, these septic haulers, they'll suck out their grease traps, and they'll take it to Cleveland, where they have an incinerator that runs their turbine. We get calls once a month, are you guys ready yet? Are you guys ready for the FOG? Can we bring it to you yet? We're like, we're not there yet, we don't have the system. We need to do a study first. We need to see what we can take in, how much of it we can take in, how do we do it safely, what equipment do we need. The communities that do this, they actually generate more in the tipping fees than they generate in electricity, because it's such a valuable, not many places do it. And that's why we've been successful in Lorraine County with the septic program, because they don't want to drive 45 minutes away. They don't want to take I-90 all the way through, rush hour to a backed up line. So that's why we keep getting calls from engineering firms, from customers, from restaurants, can we bring it to you guys? So that is a big one that we are going to look at. It's something that's easy. Elyria, we are very fortunate with our biosolids. Yes, it's very old. But in my first slide, it said that in 1986, we had the second plant expansion. Well, what they did was they actually raised our digesters 10 feet, 10 to 12 feet. They're oversized now, which is great for us, because the longer it sits in there, the more it can degrade, the more biogas you can treat. A lot of communities, they need to build extra digesters. Ours are actually oversized, so we don't have to build any more infrastructure. We just need additional equipment for that infrastructure, because we already have that. So that's something that it was it's very pleasing to hear and to know that we have the capability to do this. So this is actually a visual of the roadmap. Once we enter into contract, it'll be about 8 months to completion. And you can see with the little pin, that's where we are now. If we do this, the immediate operations and the quick fixes, and the near term, digestion, dewatering improvements, biogas reuse, that's what we can do in the near term. And then from there, let's see what triggers happen. So in the top left column up there, you can see the disposal costs, the biosolids market change, process interruption. So based on that, we know which road to get off of. It's a very easy, like I said, it's a very fluid plan. So it's not linear. It's not, we're going to go follow this route exactly. We'll have an idea. We'll know it makes sense. But if something happens in between, this will give us the best use of our time, resources, and our money in the end. And I think that's what, it's not only cost saving, but it's the additional generation in the revenue is something that is very promising as we move into the future with this. The last, I messed it up. I think that was the last slide. I did want to end with a quote. I say, for nearly a century, Elyria has treated wastewater and protected our waterways, but tonight the message is about the future. Together, we can transform this plant into a facility that not only treats water, but recovers resources, protecting our environment, reducing costs, and providing for the many generations to come. And I think that's the reason that we all are doing what we're doing here. And now with that, thank you. And now do you have questions?
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. So I guess my first question is, how much is the contract? What is the contract with Brown and Caldwell? What does that look like, and how much is it?
So the do not exceed was $441,000. That is with some additional contingencies that we know we could have removed a few here or there, but we figured we'll put them all in there because I don't want, it's hard to know exactly what we're going to need as we get into it until we have some of these early workshops, until we start diving into the data, until we do inspections of the digesters. Because if we go in and do inspect and say, well, we don't need this now. You know, we don't need to look at our pipes underground. We know they're new, or we'll eliminate that from there. It'll just be a savings that we won't end up spending. But the all-in do not exceed was $441,000.
And where would this come from?
This is coming out of engineering's professional services.
The money has been, okay, the money has been appropriated. Mr. Oswald? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Farrell,
To
please.
the chairperson, I did speak with Kathy, and the money's in the wastewater pollution fund, wastewater miscellaneous department,
Okay,
and so it is appropriated for 2025.
okay, thank you. Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Madam Chair. So I have a couple questions. First off, let me ask you, Shane, you said that we pay for the dumping fee at the landfill?
Through you, that is correct.
Okay, so that being said, do we have enough farms? Is it doable to send this stuff to farms that can use this biosolids in their farms to the point where we wouldn't have to pay to dump it at the landfill?
That is what we are going to be looking at in the study. Some examples, I know the city of Oberlin, they actually buy the farmland, lease the farmland to farmers, and then spread their biosolids on their own farm fields. I don't know if we want to get into the farming business, so I'm not going to throw that out yet. But that is something that we're going to look at. There's two types of biosolids, Class B and Class A. Class B it's good for landfill. It's good for land application within reason. There are certain restrictions. It has to meet certain limits of metals and pathogens. It can be done, and that's what we have now. And that advanced digestion or even sludge drying will get you to that Class A, where you don't have to wait a year before you plant row crops. So there's just certain restrictions. But yes, it is possible, and communities around us are doing it.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. My second question is that I know we've been discussing this thing about the methane gas for a while. And there, of course, since we've been talking about it, you're coming up with new stuff that we can use. Are we seeing that there's any grant programs or anything with EPA? Because I know they don't want that going up in the air, and if they can pay to help us out, have you seen any help from them? Thank you.
Yes, there are grant programs. They've been, said in the past year, things have changed and kind of got thrown up in there at the federal level. But this actually does help with moving forward with those grants. Because I know that, I know Sam and Kathy have worked more with grants than I have, but I know that you have to have a concept and the basis of design and what we need to do first before we can actually even apply for that. I know there's certain percentages that you have to do. But there are, so that at the state level, there are certain grants that will help with this.
Thank you. Mr. Talat?
Through you, Madam Chair, couple statements. We have a large employer in the community, Beckett, who utilizes a lot of these technologies today that are using it for residential and commercial burners for kitchen solids, kitchen grease waste. So I'm fascinated by this technology. Doing quick math on this, the methane piece, being able to operate a generator to save 50% on our electric. If we could do that, 2 years' worth of service of a methane generator would pay for this entire study in itself. Is that the number that you're showing too? If our electric is $600,000 a year and we could save 50% with a methane burner.
That is correct. Through you, that's correct.
So this could pay for itself. It wouldn't cover the cost of the methane generator, but it would eliminate 50% of the cost of electric.
Correct.
Okay.
I said, I don't want to be held to any numbers here tonight, but roughly a combined heat power unit, because you're also utilizing the heat from it as well. And that heat from the generator, because it is an engine, is actually heating the digesters. because we have to hold to that 98 degrees. That's why they're so efficient. You're creating electricity, and then from the exhaust and the fumes, you're running the sludge through there, and it's heating the digester. So they're roughly 70 to 90% efficient, and $1 million. So that's where, 3 to 4 years return on investment on something that size. So don't hold me to that number, please. But it's something I've talked to other communities about, and that was.
I'm a huge proponent of this, so thank you.
Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to Superintendent Stewart. Thank you for this informative slideshow, and it's very well put together, and I find it to be very informative. My questions are regarding the FOG program. If we were to implement it, do you know, would it require any additional staffing, what the startup cost of that would be? Are we accepting product from only within the city limits, or is it a regional thing where people can bring it from anywhere? And what's the average collection fee that comes along with that? If you know, I know I'm asking you a lot, so thank you.
Through you, that was a lot. So the tipping fees, it's more than septic. I don't have the exact answer, and it wouldn't be regional. So my idea would be, our idea would be, we would do it similar as our septic program. We stayed within the county only. We're not accepting from anywhere else. I'm not saying that we can't, but there are risks. I would question, why are you driving an hour away when you passed 4 treatment plants to bring it to our plant? Because you can cause disruptions. Shane's been very good with sampling. He's kept a great eye on these guys, and we've built a great relationship with them. I would say it would be similar with the FOG program. That was 2 of the questions.
Hiring additional staff?
Oh,
Would you
additional
need
staff?
additional staff?
No.
Okay, or equipment?
Equipment, yes. There would be, just with grease, they tell you don't pour it down the drain. It hardens. It gets collected on the walls. The same thing with this, is it needs to be heated before it's pumped to the digesters. There are not large amounts of equipment, but there is additional equipment.
Okay, and through you, one more question. Where is the nearest, I don't know where the nearest collection center for this is?
I believe it would be the sewer district. Yeah, the NEORSD, Cleveland.
Okay.
Their southerly plant.
All right, very good, thank you.
Mrs. Zaworka?
Thank you, through you. Couple questions and then a couple comments. The Brown and Caldwell, where are they? Are they out of Cleveland or Columbus or?
Their main office is, I believe, out of Columbus, and the engineers, that was actually one of the categories that we chose when we picked the firm. So there were a lot of great firms. We interviewed a lot. 2 of the engineers are local. One is out of Rocky River. The other one's out of Cleveland with Brown and Caldwell.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question, that we'll have someone close by as you're going through this. If I can continue, are we still doing electric and gas through SES for savings?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Through you, yes, we are.
All right. Oberlin is currently burning methane to generate electricity for the entire town of Oberlin, so that works. My last comment is, who authored this presentation? Who authored this presentation? Who authored this tonight? You?
The presentation tonight, that would be myself, yes.
It is the most polished, professional presentation that a department head has given to City Council in many years. You are to be congratulated, because this could stand on its own in a professional environment, and I will just speak for myself, do not see reports with this much detail, polish, and professionalism very often. So good job.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Stewart? Seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a contract with Brown and Caldwell to complete a comprehensive biosolids study for the wastewater pollution control plant. And this is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into said contract for the biosolids study. Emergency clause is requested. Can I get a motion from utilities, please?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Oswald, second by Mrs. Davis. Any further discussion or
Question.
questions? Question's been called. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
On behalf of Finance, can I get a motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries on behalf of Finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stewart.
Nice job.
Very good job. The next item on the agenda is the matter of applying for and accepting a water pollution control loan fund agreement and/or loan through Ohio EPA for the study of emerging contaminants related to the biosolids planning project. Superintendent Jacobs, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see everyone here tonight. I actually get an easy one. The Superintendent Stewart just asked for $450,000. As he brought up, as part of that study with the new regulations from the EPA, there's emerging contaminants that they consider something we need to be looking at in the future. Two of the big ones, PFOS and PFOA. So we were looking through some of the EPA grants that are available, and we found one through the Water Pollution Control Fund that is a complete principal forgiveness loan for emerging contaminant studies. So when we spoke with Brown and Caldwell, we had them break out the portion of that study that would be related to the emerging contaminants. And it came out to be about 24,000, so I put in an extra 5,000 because there's always some type of contingency we need to come up with. So this will hopefully pay for, $29,708 of that. Again, this is a completely principal forgiveness. The new way the EPA does it is they will, Brown and Caldwell will submit their paperwork. We apply to them, to the EPA, and say they have performed this portion. EPA will cut us a check back directly. We can either pay ahead or after. This has worked out pretty well. We just did it with the last round of the lead service line, and I think they turned the check around in 2 weeks. So this is not a very slow process for us to get this money back either.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Superintendent Jacobs? Mrs. Zaworka?
Thank you. Through the chair, not really a question, but a comment. Thank you. I know that you have found millions of dollars under the couch cushions over the years for these projects, and you're to be commended. I know that many of the Homeland Security grants that you got for safety and security, and the fact that you found another $29,000 is to be commended, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zaworka. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of applying for and entering into a water pollution control loan fund agreement and/or loan through the Ohio EPA for the study of emerging contaminants, ECs, related to the biosolid planning project. This will be a forgiveness loan for the ECs portion of the study in the amount of $29,708. And this is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into said agreement. Emergency clause is requested. Can I get a motion from utilities, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Oswald, second by Mr. Armstrong. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
On behalf of Finance, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the matter of advertising for bids and awarding a contract for the playground project at West Park. Director Reardon. Sorry, I'm excited about this one.
Thank you, through you. So we're just about ready to go out to bids for the West Park Playground project, so this is just, asking for us to be able to do that. The ODNR grant agreement allows us to start the project October 1st, so we're hoping to go out to bid shortly after that. I've been working with Kathy to get the bid together, so just requesting permission to do that.
I think it's important to note that the playground equipment just isn't standard equipment. It's going to be adaptive.
Yeah, through you. So this will be a completely accessible playground. Even though at our other playgrounds, we have the ADA mulch, this will be a poured-in-place rubber surface. So it'll be a very smooth transition for anybody that has accessibility issues, wheelchairs, things like that. Excuse me. And this is the project that we got $325,000 through ODNR. So it'll cover just about half of the project.
Thank you. And what equipment did we decide on?
Through you. So we have not decided on any equipment
Okay.
yet. We did a community outreach, so there's 3 pieces of equipment that will be a requirement, but this will be a design build bid, so we'll actually put this out and playground companies will send us their pictures and kind of the overview, and then there's usually a committee of us, a few people from my department, usually somebody from Kathy or somebody from engineering, and we'll kind of score it, and then we'll go with the best option at that point.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to Director Reardon. The timeline, will this be in before the 4th of July celebration next year, do you think? Just
Through-
curious, because I know the playground activity gets a lot of activity that night.
Through you. Ideally, yes. I don't know why it wouldn't. There is going to be a little bit of a waiting period because we've had other playgrounds installed in the winter time. That's not a problem, but it's the surface that's going to be the issue. It has to be a certain temperature. But there shouldn't be a reason that we can't do that in the spring and have it opened. I mean, even I would hope by mid-May. Obviously, it's going to depend on the contractor and their schedule, but it should be plenty of time before July 4th or 3rd.
And thank you again, your department's doing a great job, and I've said it numerous times, West Park looks awesome, so thank you.
Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Chair, to Mrs. Ridden, is the park, the playground just going to be that small, or are you going to expand it a little bit?
Through you. So we are going to expand the area over there as much as we can. One tree was actually taken out by the storms in June. The other tree we're not able to remove because we are using ODNR money, but we are going to expand it. It doesn't look like a lot, but if you take it almost all the way out to the trail, you know, on either side, it'll be quite a few hundred square feet bigger, the whole area.
Thank you.
Mrs. Zaworka?
Thank you, through the chair. Are you going to consult with any people who are the professionals that deal with these types of pieces of equipment, for example, Murray Ridge, or any of the other agencies that work with youth and children that would need this adaptive type to make sure that we're getting the right stuff?
Through you. So yeah, we've actually had a few people reach out already who are involved because they saw it like in the newspaper or they've seen articles. So yeah, that's actually, we can, you know, definitely do that, and I have their contact info.
If I could continue, I think that that's a critical piece. I know that that's what was done for Cascade, so thank you.
Mr. Armstrong?
Through you, Madam Chair, is there any chance that this funding could help with the skate park over there?
Through you, Chair, no, I mean, we have to submit the exact project. Now, that doesn't mean that getting the grant hasn't opened up, you know, possibly some other dollars. I know there was some talk earlier in the year about, you know, using some of those dollars for the pocket park, but, I mean, yes, it's in the master plan. It is something we can use issue $6 on, not this specific grant, though.
Thank you.
Any other questions and/or comments? I may be a little biased, but I think West Park is one of the best parks in the city, so thank you so much to you and your team. Seeing no other questions or comments, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and award a contract for the West Park Playground project, which will consist of removing the old playground equipment and replacing with new. This is an ordinance authorizing to advertise for bids and award a contract for said project to be paid with Issue 6 funds and Water Conservation Fund grant. Emergency clauses requested. Can I get a motion from utilities, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Oswald, second by Mr. Armstrong. Any other questions?
Question?
Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Farrell.
For the committee report, can we use the 2016 half% income tax fund?
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah, this is in the Parks and Rec Master Plan Department in that fund, so another good use of those monies.
So it will be paid out of the 2016 half% income tax fund and the water conservation grant. It was moved and properly second. Any other questions and/or comments?
Call for the question.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
On behalf of Finance, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The last item on our agenda is the matter of the renewal of the lease with the Horizon Education Center at East Recreation Center. The lease runs from September 2025 through May 2026. Director Reardon.
Thank you, through you. This is, the Horizon Education Center runs their 21st century after-school program at East. There were some questions this year based on federal funding, if they were even going to be able to do the program. They had some layoffs, so they are back. So we just want to renew that so they can use the space. They do pay $1,000 a month for the space.
Law Director Deary.
Ms. Law Director Deary.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Director Reardon, just for clarification, this would be a new lease, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Madam Chair. In the past, have you had any problems or issues with dealing with Verizon?
No, through you, Chair. Overall, they're a very good partner. I mean, there's some things here and there as far as cleaning up after themselves, but, you kind of get that with anybody who uses the facilities. They're very responsive to any requests we have or anything like that. And so they're a good partner. We have our after-school program there, and they have theirs, so I think we both feed off each other as far as some kids are involved in both programs. So it's a good partnership.
Mr. Snyder.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Director Reardon. I'm not really familiar. Do they basically lease after school, so are they basically time blocked from like 2 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday, or every school day, I should say, Monday through Friday? Just curious.
Yeah,
Thank
through
you.
you. So yeah, their program actually runs 2:30 to 5, so they have staff that starts to get there at 1:30, and they're out of the building at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
And it is Monday through Friday. They obviously go on the school schedule, so if they're off for a holiday or a teacher in-service day, they don't have the program.
Mr. Talat.
Through you, Madam Chair. If I remember correctly, I remember asking about this a year or two ago. They do provide their own liability insurance as well, correct?
Through you, yeah. Yep.
Thank you. Liability insurance?
Director Reardon, and this may not have anything to do with it, there's been a lot of talk of problems at East Rec, I'm sure you're aware, with the kids fighting and bikes being stolen and what have you. The kids in this program, they're not involved in that. Are there supervisors there? They're mainly contained to inside the building?
Through you, yeah. So we have our own staff for our program, and their program is for middle school only. We have our program K through 4, 2 days a week, and then we do 5th through 8th, 2 days a week. Theirs is strictly for 5th through 8th because that's what their grant covers.
Okay.
But they have staff, they have tutors. I mean, they're probably a little overstaffed, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, and they're supervised at all times. So they may go outside and, on a nice day, they're supervised at all times when they're at the program. And they actually also offer transportation because they have like a little shuttle bus that they're able to use. So yeah, they're supervised at all times.
Great, thank you. Mrs. Awarka?
Thank you, through the chair. So are they coming from Eastern Heights? Is that where are they coming, the children that are coming there for after school?
Yes, mainly, but they are able to go pick them up if need be. But yes, mainly they're all walking down from the school.
Oh, they're walking from the school to the rec center?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Armstrong, was your hand up, sir? Mr. Lippian?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Not a member of this committee, but just a question since it was mentioned. For the supervisors of the Horizon, is it possible to have them trained in some reporting procedures if they do see bikes getting stolen or issues like that the proper procedures to report those, just kind of have a couple extra eyes in the community on that emerging problem?
Yeah, through you. I mean, I can definitely talk to them. You know, obviously, we can't make them, you know, be trained in something. I know last year when there were some bike issues, I actually got with the Lorraine County Health District and we gave them some bike locks. So we're trying to help, and the other problem we had last year is the kids wanted to bring their bikes into the rec center because they were getting stolen, and we're like, here's some bike locks. You don't have to give them back. You know, they were donated, like I said, from the health district. So there are always ongoing conversations about that and how can we help them. But I can definitely run it by them.
Thank you, especially if we can get bike locks again, that would be great. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yep.
Are there any other questions and/or comments? Seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the lease agreement with Horizon Education Center at East Recreation Center. The monthly amount is for $1,000 beginning September 2025 through May 2026. And this is an ordinance authorizing the said lease agreement. Emergency clause is requested. Can I get a motion from utilities, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Oswald, second by Mr. Armstrong. Any other questions?
Question.
I'm sorry.
Call for the question.
Oh, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
On behalf of Finance, can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Director Reardon. There's nothing else for the joint meeting of Utilities and Finance. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Utilities is adjourned.
Take care. We'll continue on with Finance. First item on the agenda is the matter of approval of meeting minutes from the Finance Committee meeting on September 8th, 2025, as circulated on September 15th. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is the matter of applying for and accepting, if offered, the NOACA TLCI Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative Grant for a TLCI planning study. You're on.
Good evening. This item is for a grant application. Currently, NOACA is soliciting applications for their next round of Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative projects, or TLCI for short. We have spent the past several years implementing construction projects, whether small or large, improving mostly downtown with crosswalks, improved street lighting, improved sidewalks, utilizing their TLCI funds. And those projects were based on a 2015 plan that was funded using TLCI funds called Jumpstart Elyria. Well, that plan is now 10 years old, and we've utilized, I believe, as much as we can for applications for additional TLCI funds. So with this round, we're recommending that we apply for a planning grant that will hopefully take us into, the next 5 to 10 years, as long as the TLCI program continues. We are requesting up to $150,000. We are applying for a 100% grant because we are considered a disadvantaged community. We can apply for the grant without the additional 20% cost share using city funds. Now, this plan, it is just a plan at this point, conceptual, but we are looking at the area of concentration for this to be in the areas of the new or proposed housing by the mall area. So, near the corner of West River and Griswold, maybe the Pace McGregor area. And then, of course, the area around the mall. We're also looking at areas of concentration of Broad Street and State Route 57, over into the Walmart area, and trickling down into the Chestnut Ridge area, and then, of course, coming back here to the downtown area. One of the big key differences from our 2015 plan, our Jumpstart Leary plan, that plan was very heavily business and development oriented. Over the past decade, NOACA has changed their approach to this TLCI program, and they are concentrating projects and plans to transportation plans supporting redevelopment and bicycle and pedestrian networks and complete street implementation plans. So we'll be looking at ways to get bicycles and pedestrians in these areas that I just mentioned, the areas of concentration. And we are, hopefully, because our existing plan is 10 years old, I believe we are in good shape to get this new plan funded. Grant applications are due October 10th, so I am requesting that this be passed as an emergency.
Thank you very much. Mr. Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to Engineer McKillips. Not really a question, just a comment. I want to thank you for being proactive in being kind of ahead of the growth that's going to happen at near the intersection of West River and Griswold. I think that was a good move. And also, I have had numerous complaints from residents and businesses about the walkability east of 57. So I'm glad that that's being addressed, because you have housing on one side that needs to walk or ride to the other side, and it's a mess. So thank you. I truly, truly think that this is good, and I hope we get the grant. So thanks.
Any other questions from the committee? If not, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of NOACA Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative Grant for a TLCI planning study. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for and accept, if offered, the said grant for the TLCI planning study. Emergency clause is requested due to application deadline. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is number 3, the matter of a project change order for the 2025 OPWC Murray Ridge Road resurfacing project. Engineer McKillips.
Thank you, through you, Chair. We are requesting a change order for the Murray Ridge resurfacing project. The project is almost complete, with the exception of permanent paint and signage. knowing that based on the grant funds available and the actual award for the contract to the contractor, we had additional grant funds that we wanted to use up. So there was additional work that was done on the road to widen certain parts of that road, at least a foot on each side, just try to make it consistent throughout that corridor that we did resurface. With that said, the additional cost to the project is $55,914. Now, the original referral that came in April was for $179,400. We're now asking for the total project cost to be $185,000, on which really we're looking for an additional $5,600 of additional city cost above that original referred amount at this time.
Awesome. That's excellent news. Any questions from the committee? Mrs. Mitchell?
I'm not on this committee, and I don't have a question, just a comment. It looks awesome, and I cannot wait until next year when the rest of the road gets done. It really does look good, so thank you.
Thank you. Question?
Through you, Chair Kathy, this is probably the city's share coming out of Muni Motor Vehicle?
Correct.
Okay. Then it would be appropriated.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? If not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a project change order for the 2025 OPWC Murray Ridge Road resurfacing project. An ordinance authorizing the said project change order due to the project going over the allowable 10% in contract overages. New total cost is $185,000. City Muni Motor Vehicle Fund, $52,244. OPWC, 92% grant, 8% loan equals $132,756. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Okay. So the next one, when we get into it, let me read it first. Number 4 is the matter of city equipment from water pumping and water distribution, which is no longer fit for city use and to be taken out of service and disposed of. Safety Service Director, now what we did, we broke it into 4A and 4B.
Okay, thank you. Through you.
It can be all in one?
Yep. Or on one committee. Because it's two departments.
Even though it's two departments?
Oh,
Okay.
Owned by the same city. So through you, so we have a couple pieces of equipment here. The Bobcat is out at water pumping. It is, according to Mr. I at CMG, it needs several repairs to make it safe to operate in the amount of approximately $5,000. Given that it's nearly 30 years old, they think it's time to move on from it and to put it on gov deals and sell it. We would probably replace it, but the department has informed me they can wait until the 2026 budget, so they could work that into there to get it replaced. It's not going to be an emergency replacement at this point. So simply replacing a 30-year piece of equipment with a new one, it just seems like it's lived its life. And then the other one is for a couple of pieces of equipment out of water distribution that are simply no longer needed by this department and they're not needed by any other departments in the city. So just getting rid of equipment that we no longer need. Maybe we can get some money and buy some stuff we do need, or just save the floor space. So not too complicated, but those are what those items are.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee on the disposal? If not, I'll read the single committee report. We have considered the matter of finding the city has equipment from the Water Distribution Department, a Kent F6 hydraulic ram and a Furukawa hydraulic ram to be removed from service and to be disposed of by the best means possible. Also, a 1997 Bobcat 763 series from the water pumping plant. A resolution declaring the said equipment is unfit for city use and an ordinance authorizing the said equipment to be disposed of by the best means possible in accordance with the law. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, final item on the agenda tonight is the matter of amendments to the 2025 Permanent Appropriations Ordinance. All of you should have these changes with you, but go ahead, Director Farrell.
Thank you, Chair. There's two funds and departments. In the block grant fund rehab department, transferring $43,900 out of operating and maintenance, $36,000 of which will go into their salary and wages, and $7,900 into their benefits. And in the CHIP grant fund and CHIP grant department, transferring $12,500 out of operating and maintenance, $9,000 of which will go to their salary and wages, the other $3,500 into benefits. And this is at the request of Director Scott, and this is grant monies. There's no increase in the total appropriations, just shifting it.
Are there any questions? Mrs. Soroka.
Thank you, through the chair. I think Mr. Farrell answered the question. Their job duties have changed, so because their job duties changed, they got to get paid out of a different fund. Is that it?
That's correct. I think
Thank you.
instead of paying professional services, they're paying personnel with the
Thank
money,
you.
so.
There are no additional questions. I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of 2025 permanent appropriation changes, an ordinance authorizing to amend the said permanent appropriations as per the attached. Could I get a motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Question's been called. All in favor, please use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. If we have nothing else to come before this committee, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone.
Right.